What's going on, everybody? D-Style Boxing here. Let me just check my sound here. It looks like we're good. I want to thank everybody that's joining me live, and to those that'll be joining me on archive. Let me tell you something. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far. I hope you enjoy the fights tonight. If you're watching on archive, this is, of course, Saturday, morning on my end. All right. I wanted to come on and give my thoughts on the topic that I did not have an opportunity to take a part of. I was not able to be part of the roundtable this weekend, or this last Thursday, right? If you have not checked out the show, after I post this, I'll have the link to that video on the description below. Make sure you go check out that roundtable. Check this out. The topic was, it's on Roundtable 52 on Chief Funky Boxing's channel. How would Caleb Plant do against Saul Canelo Alvarez' last 5 opponents? Predict and Rum, good to see you, brother. Team Batman Boxing says Canelo's coming to destroy Plant. He says, Puerto Rican Rum says HCP with all the beautiful colors of all the beautiful Latin American flags. DJ Mexicano de Tejas, how's it going, brother? So let's touch over this, right? Let's look over the last 5 opponents of Canelo, right? Because we always hear like Caleb Plant. For those wondering where I was going with the whole biblical stories thing and all that, right? I mean, Caleb Plant told reporters, right, and people that they wouldn't understand, his life, because we're used to, because make no mistake about it, Caleb Plant was talking to all of us, okay? Caleb Plant was saying we live ordinary lives. We accomplish ordinary things. That's what Caleb Plant said, right? He said he does unbelievable things and that he accomplishes unbelievable things. This is not my words. This is not the words of some YouTuber. This is not the words of one of his fans. This is the word from the horse himself. Caleb Plant himself said he accomplishes unbelievable things up here, guys, right? He does unbelievable things you couldn't even possibly imagine, right? That's what he said. Now, I'm not here to judge Caleb Plant. Maybe he has done unbelievable things, He just hasn't done them in boxing. I'll say that. Now, before I continue, I want to make sure that the arrogance of how he talks, like, dude, you don't know people's lives. You know what they've been through. You don't know what they've overcame. You know the odds. You don't know. You're out there talking to somebody. You don't know if a member of that press was once told, he's going to die from cancer. You have a 90% probability of dying, and they overcame it. And they're still alive. You just don't know. It's just like an example, right? You don't know what people have been through. You don't know what they've accomplished, right? Boxing is not the only profession in the world, right, where people do amazing things. It just isn't. All right. Like when there's a storm out and your electricity goes out, right? And some poles got busted, okay, and there's a an electrical current's out, right, in the middle of the fucking rain. Somebody needs to go repair that shit, right? We have men all over the country that work jobs and do unbelievable things all the time, right? But we all do different things, okay? But Caleb Plant thinks he's better than everybody. He thinks he could talk down to people like he's Pharaoh, okay? Right? Like he's a living God or something, that he does unbelievable things, right? Now, one may say he started taking out of context. He's just saying he really believes in himself and he's going to beat Canelo, who many don't believe he was going to do it. Some people didn't believe he was going to beat Uzcategui. Okay, whatever. But I mean, I picked him to beat Uzcategui, so that's whatever to me. Caleb Plant is a professional boxer, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a fan of boxing. I respect these warriors that go in the ring, including Caleb Plant, right? They're great athletes. A lot of them got great genetics, all right? And they have a big set of balls. And they go out and, for our entertainment, engage in combat, okay? I appreciate that. I appreciate what they do, all right? But when we compare them to their peers. That's who we're comparing them to in their respective sport. Caleb Plant did accomplish a great thing in becoming a title holder at 168 pounds by being a slight underdog, a pretty good underdog, I should say, against Uzcategui. Good. That is an accomplishment, but that's all he's done. But in life, we compare accomplishments, right? So let's compare him to his peers. Who better to compare him to than his next opponent? Saul Canelo Alvarez, who still you have people trying to pick apart Canelo Alvarez's resume, right? They try to pick everything apart about it. Oh, but Mosey was old. Mosey was only 1 year or so away from when he fought Pacquiao, and Pacquiao got credit for that win. Why can't say young Canelo, right, get credit for that win? Why not? Floyd got credit for the win, even though Mosey was coming off almost a 2-year layoff, but he got credit for that win. Why can't Floyd Mayweather get credit for that win? I'm sorry, why can't Canelo, right? Oh, but he fought all these chumps, blah, 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 right? He ended up fighting the guys you wanted him to fight anyway. Keep in mind, when people were demanding that Canelo fight real competition, Canelo was younger than some of the dudes you see today that haven't done shit. But we don't want to go through a whole history lesson, ladies and gentlemen. We just don't. Let me give a shout out here to some people. Chief Funky Boxing, how are you doing? Sonteo Media says, what's up, D-Style? Chicana Prophet, Rump PMC, and a chat, hashtag 8CP. And shout out to the people that Sonteo graciously shouted out. Egg-shaped form says, Caleb Plant parted the Red Sea. It's in the Biblia. And I'll say this, okay? I'll say this. I just want to compare Caleb Plant, who says in interviews, right? He says, oh, but that was my dream. That was my goal, he says. My goal was to become undisputed super middleweight champion of the world because I want my name in the annals of time. You know, I want people to speak about me. I want people to mention me. I don't give a damn about the media. I don't give a damn about my name being in Vegas, he said. I don't care about me this being on pay-per-view. I just want those belts. Well, it would have been nice, Plan, if he would have taken that stance, right, when the fight was first being talked about, and you could have fought him on the zone. You know, but no, Caleb Plant said he wanted to fight on pay-per-view to generate the most amount of money. Oops. Maybe you shouldn't have said anything, Plant, because we have receipts on the things you've said, okay? Also, it would have been nice, Plant, if you made the process faster, you know? Like, I don't know, like if you would have fought David Benavidez, like if you both would have fought and unified, it would have been very nice for you to already have 2 belts, right? And we could have skipped a lot of the process in the way. It would have been nice if you did something to fight Callum Smith, but you didn't. You never pushed for those fights. You were comfortable getting your $600,000, $700,000 paydays on Fox, fighting, you know, subpar competition in terms of what we're talking about, the level of what we're talking about. It would have been very nice, Plant. Okay, it would have been nice if you actually showed us in actions, right? So all those biblical stories, it was action that showed people, all right? Not just saying it, all right? Moses didn't just say, "Oh, I've always wanted to let my people go," while he let somebody else do it. Okay, like, "Oh, this was my dream to let my people go." But you let Joshua release the people, man. Like, he had them escape. You were just chilling over here in the mountains the whole time, Moses. Yeah, but it was always my dream, to let my people go. What? I'll be like David saying, I've always wanted to challenge myself and fight great warriors like Goliath. I've always wanted to do that. David, but you let that other dude fight him. Like, you didn't fight him. Yeah, but that was always my dream, though. Like, please, just spare me. Spare me the talk. All right, just spare me. Spare me this thing. Like, you let Canelo do all the fucking work, and you're just fortunate. That's what you are. And you don't want to admit that you're fortunate to be where you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right. It doesn't mean you have to be intimidated by Canelo or even respect Canelo. Right. I get you're his opponent. I get you want to beat him. I get you're here to compete, but at least admit that this is a very fortunate situation. If Canelo did not do what he did, you would have never accomplished what you said you were out to set to accomplish. How do I know that? Because I already know there's people wanting to type down, well, Plant doesn't have the ability to fight these guys. He's at BBC. How did you want to fight Billy Joe if Billy Joe was on the zone? How did you want to fight Smith if Smith was here? How do you want to fight this Benavidez if Benavidez turned down the fight? Right? Well, obviously you weren't trying to make the fight because even your own fan base says that the fights couldn't have happened. Well, we all know that when somebody wants something, they can make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the way it is. You can make that happen. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk and compare their last 5 opponents. We have, on one hand, we have Saul Canelo Alvarez. Okay? Let's go ahead and talk about, like, people say Canelo Alvarez's resume is weak, right? They say he hasn't fought great competition. I hear people say that he has cherry picked his way, okay, into getting all these titles, right? I mean, it was so easy to get these titles, but Caleb Plant wouldn't do it, right? I mean, if it was that easy, couldn't Caleb Plant and PBC offered, Callum Smith something? Couldn't they offer Billy Joe some? Couldn't he have gone to the zone and snatched those belts? Couldn't he have done that? Dele Castano, ladies and gentlemen, Castano was allowed to go fight Texera on the zone and snatch those belts because they had faith in Castano. The reality is, okay, for whatever you want to say, Al Heyman's a good guy, good advisor. I think he understood where Caleb Plant stands, right? I think he does understand. So let's go over the last 5 opponents. Maybe Caleb Plant's last 5 are superior to Canelo's, right? Isn't that a good way to show us? Like, can you show us, like, someone else that has a better resume in their last 5 fights, right? You have to have some type of example, right? So let's talk about it. So Saul Canelo Alvarez, not only do I want to talk about who would win, I want to talk about how the community would have reacted to this fight being made. Even myself. How about that? I'll include myself. I'll include HCP. Shout out to Maestro in the chat. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Truax. Caleb Truax was 31-4 with 2 draws. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Truax. Ladies and gentlemen, if Canelo doesn't get Truax out of there in 5 rounds, I would be extremely disappointed in Saul Canelo Alvarez. I would. All right? And if he doesn't get him out of there, it will be a complete domination, right? Truax's face will be disfigured. Everybody knows it's not a matter of who would win, but how Canelo would win. Saul Canelo Alvarez would have destroyed Truax. Now, how would the community have acted? Me, I would have won. It would depend. Is this a fight in between one of his big fights, like the Yildirim fight? Because I'm staying consistent about that. Or is this like an actual like fight in September or May? All right. Is that what it is? Is Saul Canelo Alvarez try to sell as a Truax fight the way he tried to sell as a Callum Smith fight? I would have been extremely disappointed. And how would the community have acted? Oh my God, they would have stopped saying the name Truex. Just like they can't stop saying the name Yildirim right now. Like, oh, Truex. I'm going to ignore everybody else he fought, but Truex. Guys, he fought Truex. Why can't he fight Caleb Plant? But he's fighting the wrong Caleb. He's fighting the wrong Caleb, y'all. And Clenbuterol is a cheater. And he doesn't want to fight Caleb Plant. You know, isn't that like the normal kind of thing? Isn't that what they do? Right? But okay, that's one guy. I mean, everybody has a one or two dudes that, so it's whatever. Vincent Feigenbutts. Look, anyone who has a last name or first name that rhymes with butts, ass, booty, anything like that is never going to beat a top fighter, okay? Vincent Feigenbutts, okay, was 31-2 going into that fight against Caleb Plant. Okay? Ain't no way, okay, I'm telling you right now. They already get on Canelo for fighting European champions. Not European champions, world champions that happen to be European. And let me clarify that. Okay? How would they react if he was fighting a dude that had already been knocked out twice from Europe? They hadn't accomplished anything. Oh, but look at his KO ratio. I went a box, Rick, and I saw the KO ratio. I don't give a shit. Look at the dudes he's fighting. Look who Feigenbutts is fighting. Who's he fighting? Who are these dudes? Who are they? Nobody knows who they are. Okay, he was fighting for the I swear, I'm not making this up, guys. He was fighting for the Intercontinental Super Middleweight Champion. I guess the IBF has an Intercontinental Championship. Okay? That's what this dude was doing. Come on, they would be saying Euro bum. Oh, come on, Canelo. Now this guy's not even a champion. Oh, this is a disgrace. This is the problem with boxing. Canelo's fighting Feigenbutts. Canelo's a piece of shit. Oh, Clenbuterol. That's whatever. Congratulations, you have added Clenbuterol to your English vocabulary, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but that's what they would be saying. All right. He's fighting Feigenbutts, and this is terrible. That's what they would be saying. But when it comes to Plant, this is a great opponent for Plant. I mean, the people thought that he could knock him out because he had a high kill rate, whatever you say. Okay, stop. All right, just stop it. Do yourself a favor and stop. All right, Mike Lee. How would Canelo have done against the undefeated Mike Lee, who was 21-0 with 0 knockouts? Okay, dude, I don't even think Mike Lee would have a gig if that one dude didn't get busted for freaking child pornography. Okay, I don't think he would have a gig and shit. But the other dude was a fucking pedophile. I'll decide that right now. Okay, that's the only reason they were like, fuck. Hey, just get some random boxer somewhere and throw him in there, throw him in the commercial. We need to that's the only good thing Mike Lee did. You know what I mean? He kind of gave Subway another dude to represent him or whatever. Okay, Mike Lee. Okay, Mike Lee. Are you fucking shitting me right now? Mike Lee. I mean, I guess I guess 21 had tried and 21 had failed. I guess you could say that. The White Bear, Mike Gene Lee. Hey, his name is Mike Gene Lee. All right? The American Bruce Lee. All right? But check it out. What the fuck had Mike Lee fought? Okay? Stop it. Stop. What had he accomplished? He hadn't done shit, bro. Mike Lee was just fighting on undercards against subpar opposition. I'm sorry. All right? This guy hadn't done shit. I'm sorry. He just hadn't. All right? Oh, but Mike Lee is a tough dude. Okay, cool. All right? Cool. No problem. Man, Canelo would have been eaten alive for this opponent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Canelo would have been eaten alive. Okay. Um, I'm sorry. What's going on, Tony? I appreciate, brother. I appreciate your support, brother. He just hit the like button, working and listen, man. Tony Boswell's always, working, brother. But I appreciate you taking the time and listening, and hopefully we provided with entertainment while you're listening, while you're working, brother. Check this out. Mike, I could only imagine like the outrage on YouTube if he fought Mike Lee. I could just imagine. All right. Mike Lee! The fuck, bro? Canelo's killing the sport. He's killing the sport, y'all. Like, I already know that's what would be happening. I already know this. He's fighting fucking Mike Lee, man. He's fighting Mike Lee. Like God, I already know. Of course, Canelo will knock him the fuck out. Like, that's not even a thing. It's just embarrassing. It's getting embarrassing. Okay, now we get to a good one. Jose Uzcategui. Okay? That is by far Plant's best opponent. It's the one opponent I could say, okay, that's not like this dude's pretty good. That's the one dude. Okay? But dude, like, first of all, it's not like Uzcategui. He had already lost twice before. Okay? That's number one. So I just want to make sure people understand that his best win was against Andre Durrell. Andre Durrell was going through a slump at that point, though. He wasn't the same anymore, really. Andre Durrell's a fighter that didn't pan out. He just wasn't made he wasn't built like that for the pros, unfortunately. I think he was extremely talented, but he wasn't built like that. He was more talented than his brother, but his brother was more built for the pros even than him. So Uzcategui, I'll give him that, but let's be honest. I still don't think Canelo will get credit for beating Uzcategui. I don't. I just don't. Let me close this shit out. There we go. I just don't. George H, man, I never catch HCP live because of time zones. Respect to your shows. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. But much appreciated. Everybody, always look at that community page. We always share, all the shows. So make sure you take a look at that. And we always have a set time, man. So I definitely appreciate your support, and we appreciate everybody. I know we have a lot of people that listen to us on archive over in Europe or Asia and stuff like that. So. And other parts of the country that don't get to watch live because they're working or whatnot, we definitely appreciate you, okay? All right? Look at this. Uzcategui. Oh, why doesn't he fight? We have one right now. He's stuck in Andre to fight Uzcategui. Well, why Uzcategui? Well, why not Plant? And like that's what they would be saying. All right? He'll get no credit for the win, but I think he knocks Uzcategui the fuck out, to be honest with you. I think it goes about maybe 8 rounds, but he knocks him out. Okay? Just like that. Porky Medina. How does he do? Caleb Plant went a full 12 with Porky Medina, by the way, when David Benavidez stopped him. I just want to make sure you guys understand that. James McGill had already beaten him. Okay? Jonathan Gonzalez had already beaten him. Badu Jack had already beaten him. So we can only take that win. I mean, at the time, I guess it was a step up for Plant to a certain degree. Right, to see where he's at. Okay, but like if Canelo fought Porky Medina, I'm sorry. Of course, Canelo beats him. He will not get any credit. Let's move on. Look, Canelo will go 5-0. And I think Gail said it best. He'll have a combined record, like 15, 16 rounds in all the fights, to be honest with you. I think Mike Lee. In all fair, I don't want to Mike Lee is not a piece of shit like that. He's just a boxer that isn't at that level. That's all. Right. So, but Mike Lee and they're just not at that level. Okay. So we got Kamik Ozzy. Hey, first of all, I appreciate your support, brother. Much appreciated. He says, I've been hearing Plant say he never fought someone who doesn't kiss his feet, when it should be he's never fought anyone like Canelo. Well, there you go. Well, here's the problem. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Okay. Billy Joe Saunders and I'm not saying you, brother. I know you're making a point, but and it sounds like you agree with me, and you're 100% right. It should be about him stepping up now, right? I think it's a sign of denial. That's number one. But second, it's not true. Lara didn't kiss his feet. Okay, Lara wasn't worshiping Canelo, and like that's stupid. Okay, Lara wanted to fight Canelo, right? Wanted to whoop his ass. Trout wasn't like worshiping his feet, like you know what I mean? Like he wasn't. Billy Joe Saunders wasn't throwing rose petals, everywhere like he fought. You guys don't remember all the shit talking? The camps almost got at it. Like he on the face off, he was on a meaty. Oh yeah, it's meaty, huh? Like you know what I mean? He's not the first guy to remind people that he failed the test once. He just isn't. All right, it's not true. Him and Danny Jacobs almost went at it at the weigh-in. That's when he said, "Que chinga su madre" after the weigh-in, bro. You can't fool somebody that's been following Canelo his whole career. You can't. No, I don't know. Like, look. Carlos Baldomir said he's going to knock the freckles off his face. All right, that was kind of a funny one, but it's just not true. Like it's not true that guys are worshiping him and kissing him and groveling at their feet. It's just not true. You just happen to be the latest opponent that's facing him. That's all you are, Plant. Bro, there's actually, you don't got to believe me, guys. Go look it up. There's a video with a shitload of views on it called Canelo Opponents Before and After. How they're talking shit before and how they talk afterwards. You're going to be part of those clips, Plant. Now, here's the good thing about Canelo. I don't have to go to Boxer to know the last 5 opponents. That's number one. I had to go for Plant. I did. I got to admit. I didn't remember about Porky Medina, and I didn't remember where Skatiki was exactly. But anyway, the last 5 opponents. Let's start with the furthest fifth, Daniel Jacobs. Now, Canelo fought Danny Jacobs at 160 pounds. At 160 pounds, Danny Jacobs, many felt, including myself, that he actually beat Triple G. Okay? I felt he beat him. And I felt he was a good opponent for Canelo. He was. All right? Danny Jacobs at 160 pounds, in my opinion, was a bigger threat to Canelo than Plant at 168 pounds. Now, with that said, the only way this fight could happen is if Jacobs moves up to 168, because I don't see Plant making 160. Right? The question is, how would he do? Jacobs has not looked good at 168 pounds. He just hasn't. Okay? So I would favor Plant to win a close but clear enough 7-5 victory. So that's one win for Caleb Plant for me. Okay? And I'll just say this, I would hope he would prepare better than he did against Gabe Rosado. If he doesn't, Plant might win 8-4. So let's put that aside. And I know a lot of, on the roundtable, many actually disagree with me. I think only G-Funky, I think, picked, if I'm not mistaken, Danny Jacobs to lose to Plant. But nonetheless, I would pick Plant to win at 168 pounds. The fight can't happen at 160. Sergey Kovalev. We always hear about Sergey Kovalev. He fought him, before this and didn't give him enough. Like, I don't know what you guys want. Like, look, the Sergey Kovalev Canelo date was already set, guys. Kovalev wanted to go have his fight with Yard because Kovalev didn't want to be rusty. He wanted to be active the same way Canelo's active right now. Canelo just fought with Billy Joe Saunders in May. And guess what? Look, he had fought, Billy Joe, he's done it too. Like, he fought Callum Smith, then he fought Yildirim, then he fought fucking, and then he fought, Billy Joe Saunders less than 2 months apart each. That's what Kovalev wanted to do. He wanted to be sharp, right? But people they find a way to twist it. Like, he didn't give enough time to prepare. Kovalev had the option to not fight Yard. He chose to fight Yard. Okay? But let's give Plant the same exact scenario. He had just fought Yard, knocked out Yard with a jab. Yes, it was a war. Okay? Kovalev All right. Continued to go to training camp, yada, yada, yada. He said he felt fine, by the way. And he fights Caleb Plant same day at 175 pounds. Plant has to move up because Kovalev can't make 168. Kind of the same like with Danny Jacobs. Who wins? I have Kovalev winning. And for all the talk people have about, oh, but, Canelo is going to have problems with the jab. Kovalev has a really good jab. That jab even gave Andre Ward problems. And I'm sorry, but Caleb Plant is no Andre Ward. And no, that is not me like saying it now that he's gone. I have videos where I praised Ward as a fighter years ago for all you Johnny come latelys out here. I got receipts for this shit. Okay? I don't got revisionist history. D-Style doesn't rely on revisionist history. It doesn't try to lie to people about what was said or wasn't said. I just got fucking receipts for it. Johnny come latelys. Okay? He's no Andre Ward. I'm sorry. He would have a lot of problems with that jab. And I don't care if he had just fought, a couple months before. I don't give a fuck. I have Kovalev winning a decision in fairness. Okay? Like 8-4, 7-5 type decision against Sergey Kovalev. That's how I have Kovalev winning that fight. Some feel he will knock out Plant, which is possible. But I do think Plant will become negative enough in the last 4 or 5 rounds, like he did against Uskateki, right? And survive the fight. That I do believe. Let's go on to the next opponent. Callum Smith. Callum Smith actually did what a lot of boxing fans claim they want boxers to do. Go participate in a tournament where you don't get to pick and choose your opponent, and you face off in a bracket up until the final. You know what I mean? And commit to the tournament and win that tournament. That's what Callum Smith did. Okay? Callum Smith was considered the ring champion. All right? And he was I forgot what belt he had, but I think it was the WBA Super. Who would have won that fight? I would favor Callum Smith. Now, I would favor Callum Smith because of Caleb Plant's own words. Caleb Plant said he needs a lot of time to prepare, right? And that would have been a short notice fight, okay, in December. But let's say they had a full training camp. I would still pick Callum Smith to win that fight. I don't think Plant would be able to really react well to that height difference. I just don't. And he would have problems boxing on the outside. He's not a good inside fighter like Canelo, who could compact himself, come inside, and rip to the body. So I would favor Callum Smith to beat Caleb Plant in an 8-4 type decision. Next, Yildirim. I'm not even going to spend too much time on it. I think Caleb Plant clearly outboxes Yildirim, kind of similar to the way he did Porky Medina. Okay? Yildirim might win 1 or 2 rounds, but I see Plant running away with it. Okay? Finally, Plant versus Billy Joe Saunders. Let me remind everybody that Billy Joe Saunders, all right, is a southpaw. Billy Joe Saunders is known to box on the move and hasn't humiliated fighters like Lemieux, okay, while he boxed on the move. All right. I would favor Billy Joe Saunders in that fight as well. I think the southpaw stance would give Caleb Plant problems. All right. I do think it would be a close contest, though, but I would favor Billy Joe to win 8-4, something like that. Maybe 7-5 if it's close enough. But I have 2 and 3 would be the record. Now, let me explain to you guys what's going on. So that's my official record. 2 and 3. I don't think he gets knocked out, but the highest probability of a knockout is against Kovalev. Okay? That's the highest probability he could get knocked out. I do think the other fights go decision in fairness, right? Just speaking stylistically. Now, with that said, I'll tell you what's going on right now, guys. Right? This fight is for undisputed, okay? Canelo's trying to become the first ever undisputed champion at 168 pounds. And if Plant wins, he'll be the first ever undisputed champion at 168 pounds. All right? So whoever wins. This fight it has historic value. Canelo would also be the first ever Mexican to be undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. So, you know what I mean? He would be, making history on 2 fronts, right? Now, me personally, I don't put too much stock. I think if you're undisputed, you're undisputed. It means you're the champion without dispute. So it's whatever to me, but I just wanted to point that out. It is important to a lot of people, and it is a relevant fact. With that said, a lot of you out here, okay, are assuming that this should be a tougher fight for Canelo simply because it's for undisputed. Simply because you're used to this with stories you read, movies you watch. You're used to the climax of the situation, of the story, being the big challenge. That's what you're used to, right? If this was a movie, you would think, well, yeah, Plant has to be the toughest opponent, right? He's the last one, right? In Dickstown, the toughest dude was the last dude he fought, right? And Rocky, the big fight is at the end. So your mind is already programmed to assume that it's going to be a tougher fight, and that's what's going on here. That's what's happening. But no, this is just circumstance. It's just that this was the most difficult fight to make because one guy was on the other side of the street. And the name fighter, the draw, because he wants to become undisputed so bad, actually crossed the street to go get that fucking belt that's being held hostage. This is not the case of the Chiefs won the AFC Championship. The Buccaneers won the NFC Championship. They both went through their playoff runs. And now they're going to face in a Super Bowl. This isn't, okay, Team X, the Lakers win the Western Conference. The Bucks win the Eastern Conference. Now they're in the NBA Championship. Okay, that's not what this is. This is a gauntlet that Canelo's been going through. What he's going to, it looks like, accomplish in 11 months. And less than 12 months, and less than a rolling year, try to become undisputed in a division by systematically going fighter after fighter after fighter after fighter. This has not been 2 athletes, okay, competing against the best and reaching the mountaintop. This is not De La Hoya versus Trinidad where they both beat everybody else, and now it was time, except for Forrest. I mean, just side note. Okay, hardcores will know what I'm talking about. But that aside, for the most part, beat most of the competition, and now we're going to collide to fight each other. Right? The Obakars, the Whitakers, the Icortes, right? You name it, we're already put it to the side, had already been defeated, and now it's time for Trinidad De La Hoya to collide. No, this would have been the equivalent of De La Hoya not fighting Icorte, not fighting Pernell Whitaker, allowing Trinidad to fight Whitaker, allowing Trinidad to fight Icorte, and he just sits there with his WBO belt, and then they make the fight, and then they do it. It would be the equivalent of that, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it would be. That is what's happened. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, please. So your mind is programmed to believe, well, this is the end of the road to become undisputed. It's the tip of the iceberg. It has to be the toughest fight, right? No, well, while anything's possible, it could be the toughest fight. It doesn't mean it's the toughest fight. That's not how reality works. That's not how it works. Plus, it doesn't even work that way when you do it the way I explained. It's kind of like when the Lakers beat the Sacramento Kings. Shout out to G-Funky. You know what I mean? And everybody from Sacramento, Black and Brown, and all that. Shout out to you guys. Hey, Bruce goes, Ronald Finkley, Knight to Oku, Oscar, Ronald Finkley, Potato Space, Chicano, all you guys, man. Puerto Rico, shout out to all you guys, man. Chicano Prophet, shout out to you. Check this out. 92 AKU, I don't know if I mentioned you, shout out to you too. When the Lakers beat the Sacramento Kings, like everybody knew it was done right. Like they knew, okay, that's it. Lakers are going to win the finals. Like they knew it. People knew it. Like they knew the toughest challenge. They still had to go do it, obviously, but they knew the toughest challenge was over. They knew it. Look, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I love the Buffalo Bills. Okay, I do. And right now, I think they have a great shot to win the Super Bowl this year, but next year for sure. All right, this team is getting hot, solid team. But with that said, like, while they still have to beat the Bills, like everybody knew, as long as the Cowboys get through the 49ers, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Right? Now, anything is possible. Upsets can happen. I get it. But like everybody knew it. Okay? Everybody knew. Like they just knew. Like the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys were the two best teams in the league. It's just that they were in the same conference, circumstantial, okay? And they had to face each other before they went to the Super Bowl. And while boxing isn't set like that, something similar happened here, right? Canelo beat the dudes that happen to have belts and were on the zone first. And then he crossed the street, just like the NFC and AFC crossed the street with each other in the playoffs to face each other in the Super Bowl. All right? So what I'm going to tell you right now, okay, is that, in my opinion, Canelo's already faced the best of that division. It's just that he happens to want that one belt so he could call himself undisputed. And the one guy that happens to be holding that belt is Caleb Plant. That's all it is. If Caleb Truax would have pulled the upset against Plant and landed a punch of the gods and knocked him out, Canelo would still be saying, I want to fight that dude. I want that belt. If Uzcategui was still the title holder, he would be saying, I want that belt. If Mike Lee, okay, if Plant wasn't that good and he lost to Mike Lee and Mike Lee was a champion, okay, Canelo would be saying, I want that belt. If Feigenbutz had that belt, he would be wanting that belt. He would, like, Canelo made it clear he would travel halfway across the fucking world, okay, to grab that belt from the jaws of resistance. He proved that. Okay? So that's all. It's all circumstance, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final fight for Undisputed due to circumstance, not due to competition. It's not like Plant was beating these guys over here, Canelo was beating these dudes over here, and then they met for the big final battle. Like that's not what it is. That's not what it is at all. All right. Mike Lee was my local Subway worker. Now I want to show you guys something, by the way. I'm going to show you guys something. So stay here. Don't move. I want to grab something. You guys are going to laugh at this. And I forget, man, I forget who it was that pointed this out on HCP podcast. And I'm going to show you. Just don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, are you ready? Man, bro, this shit's hilarious, bro. Now, this is my toothpaste, okay? Max Fresh, that's what I prefer, okay? Cool Mint. I don't like using I like the Cool Mint toothpaste, but with that said, this is my toothpaste, all right? I hope you guys could see this. You see that? You see the Colgate logo? What does that logo look like? What does that logo look like, ladies and gentlemen? CP. Bruh. Dude. Now, let's see if I can find the Cata plant tea. Not the snack one. Plant. Brother. Brother. You gotta stop, bro. Okay? You gotta stop, plant. Let me show you guys right now. Let me show you one more time. There's a Colgate logo. Let it zoom in. That's a Colgate logo, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cata plant logo. Now, Cata plant, he does kind of remind me of Vanilla Ice a little bit. But with that said, this reminds me a little bit of Cata plant. Cata plant, I mean, it's pretty much the same logo, right? No. You see, look, Colgate's logo goes ding, 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 dee, 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 ding, 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 dee, 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 right? My logo goes ding, 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 dee, 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 ding, 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 dee, dee, dee. You should have that little thing. You know, that little thing, you know what I mean? So I get it. Oh, you curved it a little bit. Okay, brother. All right. Look, with that said, I just want to point that out. That shit's hilarious. And I forget who said it on the show. It wasn't me that said it. Somebody said it on the show, and Nancy read it out. And I thought they were ripping off Quiznos, but bro, it kind of looks like a rip off of. It looks like a bootleg Colgate logo. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Plant has a new logo. Look at this. So unless Plant has some stock on Colgate that I don't know about, all right? I don't know why he's using the same fucking logo. That's my opinion. All right? Man. Should make his own fucking Colgate and say Ice Baby and shit. The kid a Plant one, you know? Love, man. Anyway, guys, I got to get rolling. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. Okay? Shout out to Maestro, the boxing historian, right? J Balsur, all of you guys. And I'm looking forward to next Saturday. It's going to be, it's going to be interesting, right? The Plant's best shot to win is to try get a decision. That's it. Okay. How he's going to do it, I don't think he can, but it's his best shot. Okay. So words to your mother, like 92 Oku said. And you know what? He was saying, motherfucker, hey, don't talk about my mother. Words to your mother, right? That's what, I'm seeing the, seeing it a little bit. Yeah, maybe he's Colgate all day, every day. You know what I mean? Maybe he is about Colgate all day, every day. I don't know. Like, it kind of is what it is, right? Like, uh, like, same. He's like, Arm and Hammer. I don't want Arm and Hammer. Like, fuck that bullshit. I could see him saying that. Now, I'll be honest. Usually, I buy Crest, but I bought this one at Sam's Club. It was in bulk, like very, very cheap, and it's a cool mint. It's the same shit, to be honest. But with that said, The GOAT, I don't think so. What did the GOAT say? Plant has a style to give Canelo issues right now, or wrong. Let me end it with this, guys. A lot of YouTubers say this, that styles make fights, and I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not. But you have to have the style, right? And then there's still like a mixture of experience, there's a mixture of natural raw talent, there's a mixture of execution, there's a mixture of experience executing that. There's also a mixture of how good you are and how good your reflexes are, right? How fast are you? And like, how good is your punch resistance? How good is your stamina? There's so many factors that factor in. It's not like these guys stay with the style and don't have to go through anything else. It's not true. Even like, I don't think he does, but let's say he did have the style to give Canelo problems. He don't got the stamina to give Canelo problems. All the snacks in the world ain't helping him with that stamina. And I'll tell you what else. He don't got the power to keep Canelo off of him. He just doesn't. He didn't have the power to keep fucking Truax off of him or Medina off of him. So how the hell is he going to keep Canelo off of him? You know, speaking of Amir Khan, I mean, Amir Khan had the style to beat, freaking Danny Garcia, and he was outboxing, but then what happened? The inevitable happened. I'm going to tell you right now, man, Canelo's seen fighters like Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant's never seen a fighter like Canelo. He just hasn't. So that's all you got to say. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out, guys. Peace.